So a while back I did a review for these screw-in socket white LED grow lights made by Sansi, and they have recently came out with a new version of it. This new version here is available to you on Amazon by the link below. There will also be a 15% off code for a limited time. If that stops working at some point, just leave a comment to let me know, and I'll remove it. So I'm going to talk about the Similarity first. These are advertised to be 15 watts, and the new one, just like the old one, pulls exactly 15 watts from the wall. So that's one thing I like about grow lights. Every time I see a wattage that's advertised and it matches what you measure, that's always a good thing to me. So I'm going to talk about the differences, and these are good differences. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the size. You can clearly see right here that the old version is a little bit bigger. There's actually a lot of this is actually heat sink. That's why it's larger. There's a bigger ceramic disc in this old one, and it's a lot heavier. This is very weighty. The new one weighs about half that weight. This whole shell on the outside is like a thin plastic, and you can see there's plenty of ventilation through there. So it's kind of nice that it serves two purposes: is it reduces the weight and it adds ventilation, two things that you need. Also, being lighter, it's just a lot nicer. So the next difference here is the amount of LEDs. You'll see here that the old version has 16 LEDs and the new version has 34 LEDs. And I think this is actually a good redesign, because a lot of times if you're having less LEDs and you're throwing more wattage into each one, that means that they're going to get a lot hotter. It's kind of like if you had just a single cob chip versus a bunch of smaller cob chips, you're gonna burn out the larger cob chip faster because it just gets hotter. So that's one thing you're gonna see on the new one, is you're gonna have more longevity to it, and it's also easier to dissipate the heat, which also reduces the weight on the heatsink. So this one just has a ceramic disc that these are all mounted to, and it's relatively thin compared to the old one here. So that reduces the weight. The old one here has a pretty thick ceramic disc. You can see it inside here with the fins on it, and then that's attached around here. In theory, it looks like a good design, but just by simply decreasing the amount of wattage that is going into each LED and increasing the amount of LEDs, you're spreading that heat out more evenly, and each one will get not as hot versus this one. This is actually still a good light. It works fine. But for longevity, I haven't had these all that long, so I couldn't really comment on that. But the other thing you'll notice is the diffused lens. So instead of here, where it's making a cone of light going straight down, here is still getting the light going straight down, but it's diffusing it better, so you get a little more even coverage. So now we're going to go over to my little setup, and we're just going to kind of look at the beam angle, and I'll take a couple power measurements with my Apogee MQ500 quantum power meter. Okay, so here is the old version. You can see it has a very focused, concentrated beam angle here. And this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because you can put this over a small plant and just keep the light concentrated into one area. And really that would be good for a little bit more intensity, and also the fact that, let's just say that, you have a light on all the time over a plant. If you're keeping the light kind of in one little area rather than it diffusing over across the room, it just can be a little bit less of an annoyance. We're going to take my power meter though, and we're going to measure right in the center here, and this is at 16 inches. You can see that it is about 172 micromole at 16 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move this around, and you can watch the reading on the meter kind of change. I'm not going to give you a par footprint on any of these, just because it's really a small light, and it's not really necessary to do that. It gives plenty of light through that beam angle. Even a 100 micromole all the way out to the edge of the beam angle is pretty good. I mean, you can grow quite a bit under that much light, 100. And when I say that much light, I actually mean something like small house plants, succulents and small things like that. So now we're going to move on to the new version. So here's the new version. You can see that it is not a concentrated cone, although it kind of looks like that maybe on video here. That's just the camera, I guess, but you don't see like a ring like that in to the naked eye. It's pretty evenly diffused. So I'm going to take a measurement on this one here and compare it, and then I'm going to tell you why I like this light. So you can see we're still at 16 inches, and this light is actually putting out more. We're up to about 200 micromole at 16 inches. That's more than the other version. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of move it to the outsides at the beam angle, and we're going to go about where the other one was, and we're down at 22 there. But if I bring it in a little bit closer, you can see it quickly goes up. So move it out here. This is kind of hard to do with one hand holding the camera here, but I just thought it was easier just to use my iPhone to make this video. Yeah, but you can see it's very similar to the other light. Towards the outside edges, it is a little bit less on the intensity, and that's just because it's diffused. That's just the nature of it. So this is why I really like this light versus the old version. This light here is great for nice even coverage if you have like a bunch of small little plants. However, if you wanted to get more of these, say you wanted to get 4 or 5 of these and hang them up in kind of a array with a hanger kind of like this, this is going to be more effective than the old version that looks like this here, because this concentrated beam angle. So when you have diffused light, you get better overlap on the lighting, and then you can have much more even coverage on your canopy. So if you have enough of these, for a pretty low price, you can get pretty good, decent coverage on growing some plants. They also have an old version, not an old version, they also have another version here. This is the 40 watt. I'm not going to plug it in and do anything with this because I already did a review video for this as well. All the videos I did in the past for these lights will be at the end of this video, and you can click the links there if you want to watch them. But that's about it for this video. I just wanted to make this because I do like this new light, and I'm kind of providing info for people who don't know that it's out there. So that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.